Hey, Miss Jackson, what's happening? I'm on. Good morning. Good morning. It's 10:45 here where I'm at. Um, and hold on, I might need a light for the other camera. All right, so I'm back to doing my Facebook and my YouTube channel. I don't know if that made the difference. I know some of you can see me. I don't know how my YouTube is. I haven't been on YouTube in so long. But this morning I'm drinking my fruit. I have watermelon, fresh water, I mean, real watermelon with the seeds, pineapple. I have, um, wow, it seemed like I put something else in there. I didn't put the papaya in there. I have sea moss in here and black maca root that I have in my drink this morning. This is breakfast for now. And it is delicious. I believe when you eat live foods, then you become alive. I'll turn this off. That's not too bad. Then you become alive when you do live foods. And I'm adamant about putting living things, fruit, vegetables. And I like that the first thing in the morning. Now, I've not been on my YouTube. Some of you are looking at my YouTube channel. I'm really trying to get back to that. I've not been consistent with that. Um, I don't really like the technology. Like, it's just so much. I need somebody to do thumbnails for me. And I just don't have the patience or the time. I'm also drinking black coffee. So, good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I am here, home actually in Colombia. I'm in South America. I just spent, some of you saw me, y'all, I just spent probably close to a month in Florida, just sort of taking care of some things and updating the house there. Some of you saw pictures of it. It looks amazing, I believe. It was a lot of work put into it. How y'all feeling out there? It's Saturday. I know some of you all are about your day and you're moving and you have your day to live. You have your day planned out. Hopefully you have your day planned out. Um, um, so I'm here this morning because I want to tell you to live the life you love and love the life you live. It is so vitally important that you do what it takes for you to continue to live and be at peace and be happy for yourself. You know, sometimes we spend so much time trying to satisfy everybody else. You're doing things to please and appease other people, and you neglect yourself. And I think all of us are guilty of that at some point or another. We neglected ourselves because putting ourselves on the back burner for other people. And I don't think I know it's not wise. Eventually, it'll catch up with you, and you'll realize the people that you put yourself on the back burner for and you put them ahead of you, they didn't do the same thing for you. So please, y'all, live your life and be happy. I mean, be happy for yourself. It's hard to be happy for others when you're not happy for yourself. I've been sitting here, I grabbed a hold of a book. Everybody know I've been reading The Power of Now. And then I picked up an old book that I started reading called Walking Through Walls. It's really helps you in a meditative state, helps you to get into a meditative state and to help you to understand the brain and how it works and how it is important to let go of ugliness, to let go of bad, negative impacts that have taken place in your life, and how to let go of that bad energy and how to keep yourself clear. I think it's important that we read books other than Facebook, because Facebook has a lot of stuff going on it. But it's important to do stuff that's going to be self-help. Self-help books. Oh, some people only believe in reading the Bible. Well, kudos to you. I believe in reading other books, and I think it's important, and it is to help advance you. Whatever advances you, then I think that's what you should be drawn to, or that's what you should go to. It's important. And so hopefully we've learned, and we have less than 3 months left in this year. We're in October, November, December. We have less than 3 months left in this year. And please, please find ways to enhance your own life. Find ways that will add value to you. People have been fighting and bickering for years, all year long. We have less than 3 months left in this year. What are you going to do with what you have left? Like, seriously, it's a question that need to be asked. What are you going to do with what you have left? Are you going to spend the rest of this year unhappy? Please don't. This life that we have, it's a very short life. I don't care if you live to be 100. 100 years is still a short life. Hey, Queen, what's happening? And you would hope the older we get, the more at peace we would like to be, and that you would want to live your life fully, and just really stay out of everybody else's business. And a lot of times, hey Vita, what's happening? How are you? A lot of times people aren't happy with themselves. So it's impossible for them to be happy for you. And with less than 3 months left in this year, the year is rolling, y'all. Don't spend it in an uproar. Don't spend it in fighting and quarreling over something or other people. It's my endeavor to live at peace as much as possible. Now, I fought hard for my peace. I have fought hard to be in the place that I'm in. I haven't always been at peace. When I was younger, I wasn't at peace. Toiling with, struggling with some of the traumas that I experienced in life. And hey, Marty, oh, Marty Glenn, how are you? Been younger, I struggled with the traumas of life, right? And I managed to get over that hump and to surmount it. Hey, Greg, what's happening? And so I refuse to get to this place in my life where I fought for my peace of mind, where I fought for inner peace, only to be drugged backwards because of circumstances and situations. I will not put my peace on sale. It would never go on sale because I've fought and worked too hard for it. And so when you've gotten to that place of peace, or maybe you're getting to that place of peace, you may be getting there, you may not be there yet. Please guard your mind, guard your heart. Keep people out of certain places and spaces of your life that continue to bring in trauma. They continue to bring in the noise. They bring noise into your life. You know, I'm so accustomed to being without the noise until when something comes to disrupt or distract or disturb that part of my life, I will immediately dismiss it. I've been there before where I've given chance after chance and chance, and the same people or things or places that you gave chances to, it would be repeated offense because they don't understand, because you've told them before that this disturbs your peace. It's repeated offense, and you have to just say goodbye. I can't deal with. Know how much you're willing to put up with. Stop trying to let them fit in. Stop trying to make people fit in into a place that they can't fit in. Sometimes the door that you walk in, only you must walk into it. Sometimes the boat that you ride on, the boat is big enough for you. Until you can gather your thoughts, gather your mind, and strengthen your inward parts, strengthen who you are, strengthen your character, build your character. And there is a lack of character building. People will lie at the drop of a hat. Character building. Yeah, we got character flaws. So point them out to yourself and then work on those flaws. You can't do it by osmosis. You got to do the work. Be able to point out and admit, oh, you're right. Oh, you're right, Vita. Vita said you tell them all nice and they take it for granted and think they can push you over. Then mad when you set a boundary. Y'all, we got to set boundaries. You got to set boundaries with your own children. If you're a parent, set boundaries with them. Have your space and your place that you can find peace and tranquility. I mean, seriously, we're losing a lot of people to high blood pressure, cancer, because of all the stress and pressure you've spent in your life trying to appease and please, and to please, but you're hurting yourself. Yeah, you're right, Vita. Having boundaries is not easy when you have an empathetic heart. Well, yes, you're right. And so what you have to do is, let me help you out with your empathy. Turn your empathy towards you. Start thinking about what hurts you, what bothers you. Because I'm going to tell you, people will wipe you out. They'll stress you to the point that you're out of here. But guess what they're going to continue to do? They're going to continue to be who they are. You're gone because you allowed them to come into that space. I had to learn to focus on me. Yes, I had to learn. I haven't always been there, but I had to learn to focus on me. Turn that same empathetic heart that I had for other people, because that caused me to neglect me. And I turned it inward. I turned it on myself and said, if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't set boundaries, it's going to destroy you as an individual. And when you destroy you, thank you, Vita. When you destroy you, you have nobody else to blame, because these people are going to continue to be who they are, right? So turn that towards you, the same love and grace that you give other people. Please, please give it to yourself. Give it to yourself. It's not worth checking out of here over somebody else's thoughts. And because we won't set boundaries and we won't draw lines and we won't make a demarcation and we won't tell them, listen, don't cross this line. Because when you cross this line, you can't uncross it, right? And so we talk about forgiveness, right? So people talk about, oh, you got to forgive, you got to forgive, you got to forgive. Yes, forgive. But forgiving people for repeated offense does not require you to continue to dine with them. I can forgive you and leave you where you are. I don't have to pull you close, dine with you, shop with you. Listen, once certain levels of trust have been broken, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine this morning, a long-term friend. Once certain boundaries have been crossed and certain trusts have been broken, it cannot go back to its original state. If you break a bone, the doctor's probably going to have to break it and reset it. Depends. I'm not a medical doctor, but they're going to set your bone, right? They're going to try to fix you because your body heals itself, right? They're going to set it right. And at some point, it's going to heal, right? So once it heals, it's going to go back. It's not going to go back to normal. It's impossible to go back to the place of unbrokenness. It'll never go back to being unbroken, but it will heal, right? You can heal and still it won't go back to unbroken, because once a violation has taken place or once boundaries have been crossed, you can't go back and make it like it was. That's why in relationships, when trust is broken and then you try to mend it and everybody's expecting for it to go back to how it was, it's not going to go back to how it was, because you can't go back and unbreak it. It's been broken. Now you have to deal with where you are and deal with where the relationship is now and build onto that. You'll end up missing out on the better part of your life because you're trying to take it back to like it was. It'll never go back to like it was. You're not going to go back to your baby stage, are you? We can't go back to being a baby in our first state of being a baby. Now, at the latter part of life, My grandmother used to say, once a man, twice a child, because you're going to be a child in the beginning and somebody's going to take care of you. But then you become a man or an adult, right? So you become an adult, and then at the end, you go back to a child state, right? Meaning somebody's going to have to take care of you again. Once a man, twice a child. I didn't know that's what they meant back then. So you and I can't go back to fetus stage, can we? We just have to deal with our lives with where we are right this very moment. So when people try to take the relationship back to where it was, and you find yourself struggling and getting frustrated because you've not learned to deal with where you are and build onto where you are, rather than trying to go backwards to make it like it was. The offense has happened. The boundaries have been crossed. The bones have been broken. We're going to heal. We're going to mend, but it'll never go back to the state of unbrokenness again, right? It'll never go back to not being broke. It was broke. It'll never go back to that perfection. So we spend a lot of our years trying to go back to, and we miss out on the better part of our lives because we want it to be like it was. Make it like it was. No, so it'll never go back. We just have to figure out where we are, enjoy where we start building on where we are, and just build on to that. So, that was a lot. I felt like I said a lot, but it is important, because if not, you'll be frustrated the rest of your relationship or the rest of your life trying to make it back to where it once was. No. Do y'all hear music in the background? If you do, I listen. I don't own the rights to this music. Alexa, pause. I like listening to my jazz. I love jazz. I'm a jazz lover. I've been a jazz lover since I was a young boy. I used to hide and play jazz because the church said you couldn't listen to anything other than gospel music. So yeah, I'm having black coffee, and I have my fruit in a glass. Pineapple, watermelon. I got black maca root in here. I have sea moss in here. So anyways, what are you going to do with the months you have left in this year? We're at the end of the year, y'all. We are. What are you doing? You have to ask, what am I doing to better my life? What am I doing to better my position? And so let's talk about something, because this is important. When people constantly cross lines, and family is good at that. They're really good at this. They cross lines, they cross lines, and they cross lines, they cross lines, and they cross lines, and they cross lines, and they keep crossing lines, and they keep giving offense and giving offense. And then when you call them out on it, they'll say, oh, we all make mistakes. We do. We really do. We make mistakes. But when it is a constant offense, when it is a constant crossing of the lines, when it is a constant crossing boundaries, it is no longer a mistake. It is deliberate. And people run back to, because they don't want to take accountability, they run back to, well, we're all human and we make mistakes. A mistake is when you've done something wrong and you don't know you did wrong, or you did something and you didn't know this was going to be the outcome. But when you have done the same thing year after year after year, year after year, it is not a mistake, y'all. Stop letting people run behind or hide behind the covers of, I'm human. We all make mistakes. Well, you don't keep making the same mistakes. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, it is no longer a mistake. And people will hide behind, I'm human, and we all are human. But you don't keep making the same offense over and over again. It is no longer a mistake, dear heart. At this point, it is not a mistake. You know what you're doing. You refuse to change. That's what is going on in people's lives. They refuse to change. They will not change. And they use, I'm human, as an excuse not to change for the better. And y'all, it would just I'm baffled because you would think the older you get, Vita, I don't know if you're still here, but do you feel the older you get, you should become, well, you should become more wise, right? But I remember my grandmother saying, there's no fool like an old fool. There are still people that are still doing foolish things, walking in foolery at 100 years old because they refuse to correct themselves. It's called self-correct. I do a lot of self-correct because when you correct yourself, when you check yourself, then you leave no room. So you don't put yourself in a position that everybody has to check you about the same thing. It's called self-check. Check yourself. Am I right? What am I doing wrong? I've spent years in building my character. This is why I don't practice lying. I mean, because listen, a liar, well, they'll forget the last lie they told and the last 10 lies that they told. They forget the lies. That's why you shouldn't practice lying. Hey, Cynthia, you shouldn't practice lying because a liar never can keep up with their own lies. It is always better to tell the truth, even when it is an ugly truth, when it is a truth that makes you look bad, when it is a truth that doesn't really, it's not cute. It's always better to tell the truth. It really is, because now you don't have to think about the last lie you told to cover up the next 10 lies you're getting ready to tell. And when you tell the truth about you, and when you tell the truth on you, it takes the power away from those who will try to embarrass you with the truth. You can't embarrass me with the truth because I've already told the truth about me, right? You see what I'm saying? If you were wrong, just say I'm wrong. And we find that even as they get older, people get older and they're just not wising up. And this is why it's important to know that age doesn't represent wisdom. And people get older, but they don't grow up. There are a lot of people who are older, but they never grew up. We see that now with somebody who was once in a high office. They got away with everything, and they're just a baby still at 1,000 years old. You see? So you got to be able to self-correct. When you don't self-correct, you'll end up becoming old, bitter, envious, full of jealousy, full of malice, strife. You have all of those issues going on because you didn't deal with that stuff, the trauma of your past, and you didn't deal with you when you were a kid. You didn't deal with you. We didn't go back and deal with that. So you would end up being 1,000 years old, still throwing fits and passing out over stuff. And you get caught up in stuff. You're 1,000 years old and you're still bitter. It's because you didn't deal with your stuff. That's right. Self-correct comes with maturity, because now you have to identify that something is wrong and I need to correct this. And sometimes it may take a little medication to correct it. You may have to go see somebody that can help you. That's all I'm saying. And so as we're coming to the close of the year, I find that people are not maturing and they're not becoming better. They are swimming in their old stuff and they're never maturing. They still got the same pattern. They still have the same old ways. They try to cover up with scripture, right? But they can't live what they're throwing, right? They'll throw out scriptures. Hey, Reese, they'll throw out scripture, but they can't, it ain't nothing to them. It's just like a Bible toting pimp. And so people think oh, let me quote scripture so I can look a certain way or sound a certain way, and maybe people won't find me out. You see, you can quote scripture all day long, but if you can't live one of them, just quote the ones you can live. I had someone told me one time, I said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I said that scripture is still true even when you have become the formed weapon. It is still true. The principle of it is the formed weapon won't prosper. So what happens when you are a formed weapon against something, somebody's situation? It is still the truth. No weapon formed to go against me shall prosper. So when you quote scripture, don't quote scripture where you stripping the scripture of its essence. So, and so it's important because I just came out of a situation and I'm like, oh my God, are these people growing up or are they growing down? I'm just baffled by it. And let me tell y'all something. Man, listen, this life is too short. This life is too short to be living in unrest, without peace, worried about everybody else's business. But they don't have any business, some of them. And they just spend the rest of their life trying to uh, bring division and strife and 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 what do they call it? They call it they try to campaign and all of that stuff. And it's like, wow, they're still here. I remember in a situation some years ago, and I have to talk about this because it goes right into what I'm saying. I remember a situation years ago. I called uh, two people to go and pray for my stepfather who was dying with cancer. And I said to them, I said, can you go to the hospital and pray for my stepfather? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And so they went, and I happened to visit home where my birthplace, Palatka. And I happened to visit. And so the former pastor that I used to be under knew I was in town and came by the house. Oh, I'm gonna talk about it. Y'all know I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it all. Came by my mother's house, which you saw me building up and adding stuff to it, just because it was dated. It needed some updates. Came by and said, yeah, I heard you told them to go by and pray for your stepfather. What, you didn't call us because you don't think we're saved? I looked at her. I said, what? Oh yeah, you didn't ask us. You don't think we saved? And this was my response. Are you still there? Is this where you are? I be looking at people like, you still think like that? 30 some years later, you still doing that? Oh, I'm just like, oh my God, y'all getting old as Methuselah and y'all still in the same place. I was shocked, but I didn't take offense to it. But I think they got offended or they got checked because I said, is that where you are? You still there? And I have to look and say, when I see stuff arise and like, you did this when we were kids. Are you still doing this? Do y'all believe in growth? Do you believe in change? No signs of maturity. No signs of maturity at all. None. Zero. People get older, but it doesn't mean they are maturing. It doesn't mean that. And I've seen it with my own eyes, experienced it. Just because you get older doesn't mean you're maturing. You're just an older baby. and you still throwing tantrums, and you still divisive, you still doing the same thing you did 50 years ago. And let me say this to those that are still dealing with trauma. Where maybe you've been bullied by family members, and you don't know how to break free of that. I pray really that you can break free of being bullied by your family members. Whatever they did to you as a kid, they still shouldn't have that stronghold over you now. We're getting older and we should be maturing. We should be becoming better because we probably have more years behind us than in front of us. How do you want to live out the rest of your days? I know people have a lot of darkness. All of us have had darkness in us. Go in there and shine the light on that and start working with your inner self to try to become a better person. And all the chaos that's going on in your personal life, don't try to hand that off to other people. What I've noticed, and I've been knowing this for years, what I've noticed even recently, there are people that are angry towards you. And it's not even their anger that they're carrying. It's not. Because it's like, that's not how you are. Who you been listening to? They're really carrying the anger of the person that has been in their ear. They're hostile towards you. It's not them. It's the them that poisoned them about you. It's venom. You've been bitten. And now all you're doing is spewing out the venom that was injected in your blood by somebody else. And that somebody else is sitting back relaxing and they still fueling you. They're still fueling that person. They got you all fueled up, they're gaslighting, and now they're carrying out somebody else's anger towards you, and that's not even them. Y'all, please grow up. Grow up, please. You got to grow up. You really got to, you don't know. None of us know how many years we have, what time it is. We don't know what time it is, meaning we don't know when our time and our number is going to be pulled. You mean to tell me you're going to spend your entire life unhappy and fighting? Most people that don't like you, if you question them about why they don't like you, they can't even tell you. You know what they'll say? Well, you think this. How? Somebody gonna tell you what you're thinking. You think this. I'm just baffled by what somebody say you think, and you've never said it, and you never thought it. That's what they think about you. I had a family member years ago told me, "You think you're God." I said, "What?" They didn't like the fact that people honored me. And there are people who would dislike you because other people love you. And they want to find ways to mar your character and to make you look bad so other people can feel about you how they feel about you. And y'all, it's okay. You don't have to deal in that. You don't have to address people. They know what they're doing. You don't have to, you can explain it to them once or twice, but after that, let them be them. That's who they are until God can change them or they decide they want to change. Sometimes people wait to the end of their life to start changing, and it's not too late to do it, but it would just be so much better to live at peace with people and stop fighting for no reason. There's no reason for people. I swear to you, there are people that are fighting. And if you ask them, why do you fight me? They can't even tell you. It's something going on in their mind. that they're having this war and this conversation in their mind about you, and they've created this scenario. They created this. And now they're fighting out what the movie that they put together, the script that they played and wrote out. Now they're fighting you according to that script. They're fighting you according to the script that they've written. I'm telling you, people will fight you and don't have a reason for fighting you. They can dislike you and they can't even tell you why they dislike you. I had somebody tell me that somebody, oh, they didn't like one of my family members and da 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 da. I said, so why don't you? This is another family member. Why don't I said, what is it that they did to you? I said, just tell me, what did this person do to you? Oh, well, she just thinks she know everything. So I'm back up again. I said, please tell me, what did this person do to you? Because I will go to them and say, hey, what happened? And they did all this roundabout talking, roundabout. It was just roundabout talking. And I brought to their attention, I said, you know what? I've asked you 3 times what they did to you and why you don't like them. And you've yet to tell me. All you said was they think they know everything. Did you hear answering that? If somebody did something, people will live their whole life in war based on what they think you think. And you're not even thinking about that. When that person told me I think I'm God, I already knew they were wrestling with their own insecurities. And they were wrestling with the fact that people respect me and they honor me. And the power of influence is there, and they don't have it. They don't have that power of influence. And so people will dislike your power of influence. They're coming after your influence so people can they have disbelief in you. I've lived that out through the church. I know how the church is. Trust me, I know y'all. I know you people. I have dealt with you people. I know how y'all are. You try to tear down character so people won't trust or believe in their words. And you wonder why people start acting funny towards you. Like, oh, you've lent your ear. You have lent your ear to a poisonous conversation. Y'all, let's do better. Oh, on this note, let's talk about I loved my mother. I still love her. Now, I love her. And y'all know I love her. I've said it over and over again. I've showed you pictures. I'm expressive about my love towards people that I love. And some people really have a problem with that. Some people really have a problem with my expression of love towards my mother. But I would say this to those that have a problem with that. It's nothing wrong with you being expressive about your mother. You have a social media platform. Go there and talk about your mother. Oh, this is delicious watermelon pineapple and sea moss and black maca root. Delicious. And so I honored my mother. She mothered 8 people. She did. She mothered 8 people. And she took care of 8 people. Sometimes, y'all, the numbers go wrong. In the end, the number goes wrong. I don't know. I passed math. I did math. I did calculus and algebra. I passed that. But if one person can take care of all people that they birth, I don't understand why all people can't come together to take care of that one person. It just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't. But love people while they are alive, so you won't have to live the rest of your life in guilt. And I'm going to continue. That's right. You better set boundaries, Kitty. You said you do not, Kitty says you do not need people that don't accept you for you. I am setting boundaries. You have to set boundaries. Those of you that are on my Facebook page know that I'm also recording on mine. YouTube and vice versa. I haven't been on YouTube in God knows how long. But you got to set boundaries, Kitty. You have to. And sometimes the boundaries you have to set, it's your own people. You got to set boundaries. And it doesn't matter circumstances, situation. You got to set boundaries because people will continue to cross them. But yes, I miss my mother. I miss her dearly. Um, um, just life has not been the same without her. Yeah, life has not been the same without her, and um, I miss her every day. I love the conversations we've had, even the recorded conversations and the recorded singing. And I know that probably bothers some people because I do constantly talk about her, but I want you to know I'm not going to stop talking about her. I will continue to be expressive about the love that I have for my mother. And guess what? Y'all can do the same thing. Go to your page and express your love about your parents. Don't get upset with me because I talk about her in a unique way. So, yeah, that's that and that. Y'all, please live the rest of your life out in peace and stop fighting and quarreling over stuff that doesn't even matter. When you look back over it, 10 years have gone by and you still holding a grudge. Stop holding grudges. Just stop. Find a way to deal with that. Detox. Go see a psychiatrist. That helps. Trust me. Sometimes we're dealing with traumas and so much trauma in our lives, we don't know. It's one trauma after the next. And so you don't can't breathe. I am going to celebrate my mother. Listen, Sharon, I'm going to celebrate her. I celebrated her when she was alive. And I'm going to continue to celebrate. So I don't want anybody to think because of how they feel, I'm going to stop celebrating my mother. Yeah. So, anyways, I love y'all. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you for coming in. I just wanted to have this conversation. Yes, I'm home in South America. I've been here now for several days here, and I'm just relaxing and recovering from life and from the work. I was talking about my mom to a friend of mine in Atlanta. We were just talking about some of the situations and circumstances that and the declination of her health and how she was such a strong woman and she loved all of her children. Every last one of us. She loved all of us. Kid, I got a little flour in my head right here. I must have been baking a cake. Um, I love her. Life has not been the same without her. Do I miss her? Yes. Have I stopped living? No. Um, I thrive off of the love. I thrive off of her love. And I would never allow anyone to make me feel bad about my expression of love towards her, even in her transition. I will continue to talk about her. I will continue to honor her. So there we have it. I got that out the way. Um, y'all, y'all try to find a way to mend, and if you can't mend, just go your separate ways. All right, and figure out what you're going to do with the rest of this year. How you gonna finish this year? Tomorrow is not promised to us. Matter of fact, the next breath is not promised to us. It's not. So don't live your life in upsetness and in an uproar. Deal with your inner demons. Deal with your inner darkness. Don't let anybody cast their darkness off on you. All right? Y'all have an amazing day, please.